So, hello sir, good day. So, here is my lesson which is learned on the topic discussed about or related according to the Agric 44 subject. And the first is the test of significance, which is the hypothesis and the hypothesis testing. It is on investigation. There was an assumption and presumption which subsequently in study must be proved or disproved. The scientific method simply requires that a scientist state an answer to this question, so that was a hypothesis. And the hypothesis testing is that can be tested with observation. So that was the difference of hypothesis and hypothesis testing. The second one is the null hypothesis. There is no difference between statistic of two samples and between statistic of a sample. It observed as the difference is due to sampling error. So there was two possibilities that they are the same, and observed difference is due to chance alone. So it is a type of conjecture in statistics. The next is the parametric versus non-parametric test. The parametric test is based on specific distribution according to Gaussian. It relies on statistical distribution in data. The non-parametric tests do not require the means of follow a particular distribution. It is used when underlying distribution is far, and then it do not depend on any distribution. The next is the Latin square design or LSD. It considers as the source of two independent blocking criteria. So LSD had two blocking or independent blocking criteria. So rather than RCBD had only one blocking criteria. So the LSD had two directional blockings, which is the first, the row blocking, and then the second is the column blocking. The number of treatments would be equal to a number of replications. So it should be put in your mind that the LSD should be the treatment is equal to the number of replications. So the LSD is a blocking design with the arrangement of V Latin letters into a VXV array, which is a table with V rows and V columns. So it are often used in experiments where subjects are allocated treatments over a given time period. So kadalasan itong ginagamit sa mga eksperimento kung saan ang mga paksa ay inilalaan. Kadalasan din itong ginagamit sa mga malalaking eksperimento na hindi kailangang bababa sa 4 at hindi tataas sa 8 eksperimento. So, on LSD also, there was a randomization and layout. So, it is the process of randomization and layout for Latin square design, which, for example, the A, B, C, D, and E, kailangan kapag ikay mag-random or mag-apply ng randomization, kailangan hindi magkakapareho ang mga susunod na mga pagra-random kagaya ng A, B, C, D, and E. Kailangan sa susunod na pagra-random hindi na yon mauulit na mga letra o hindi na ganun ang sequence kagaya ng B, A, E, C, and D, and so on. So kailangan hindi talaga magkakasunod ang pagra-random. The next is the topic of the multiple factor experiment, which is the first is the factorial experiment. So it is an experiment where the treatment contain all possible combination followed into a selected level in two or more factors. It describes a specific way where even treatment was properly formed or not. It must be used in completely randomized design, or the CRD, and on RCBD. So the factorial experiment is an experiment whose design consists of two or more factors, so each with discrete possible values or levels. It involves simultaneously more than one factor, and each factor is at two or more levels. The next is the split plot design. So it is suitable for a two-factor experiment. So each main plot contains all the subplot. That is, each main plot is split into subplots, so which terms for split plot. So it is an experimental design in which the levels of one or more experimental factors are held constant for a batch of several consecutive experimental runs, which is called a whole plot. So it has a special case of a factorial treatment structure. Once a split plot design consists of two experiments with different experimental units of different size. So the last topic is all about the RCBD, or the randomized complete block design, which I'm very thankful which I encountered this topic from Agric 44, which is so important for me for the future thesis I will gather. And it is commonly used design of some students who have already gathered their thesis. So this is the most important design for experiment. So the blocking is primarily aimed to reduce experimental error and eliminating the contribution of known sources of variation. So it have also randomization and layout. So it is the same for the Latin square design. So it had the LSD had also randomization and layout. So the randomization and layout of RCBD, each block treatments are randomized, so making sure that block will have equal opportunity of treatments. So it has a standard design for agricultural experiments in which similar experimental units are grouped into blocks or replicates. It is a mixed model in which a factor is fixed and other is random. So the advantage of a randomized complete block design is generally more precise than CRD. That's all I learned in Agric 44 topic from the previous semester. Thank you.